Dating back almost 2 millennia, Coptic Christians are the oldest Christian community in the Middle East. But the Copts in Egypt today find themselves under attack as never before. The reported destruction of 38 churches across the country, with attacks on another 23 on top of that, said by advocacy groups to reflect indifference on the part of the Egyptian military and police forces and the vengeful furies of Muslim Brotherhood supporters following the ouster of President Morsi.
It's an indirect form of an ethnic cleansing against the Christian community of Egypt. Yes, there are a minority in Egypt, but there are 12 million. There are more Copts living in Cairo than Palestinians living in Gaza.
In Cairo, a group of nuns was paraded through the streets like prisoners of war. And at the Orthodox monastery of the Virgin Mary and Priest Ibrahim outside of Minya, a bit further south, Sunday prayers were canceled due to the torching of churches for the first time in 1600 years.
Ich versichere Ihnen, wenn man wegschaut und wenn man nichts tut, werde das, was uns in Ägypten geschieht, Ihnen eines Tages auch in diesem Heimatland der Fall sein. Wenn wir nicht von unserer Geschichte lernen, sind Sie bald dran. Und nehmen Sie das ernst.
Both George W. Bush and Barack Obama have declared that Islam is a religion of peace. Anjem Chowdhury begs to differ.
You can't say that Islam is a religion of peace, because Islam, it does not mean peace. Islam means Islam submission. So the Muslim is the one who submits. You know, there's a place for violence in Islam. There's a place for jihad in Islam.
Chowdhury is the leader of Islam for UK, a group recently banned in Britain under the country's counter-terrorism laws. He wants Islamic Sharia law to rule the United Kingdom and is working to make that dream a reality.
Nicht einfach die Menschen in Angst versetzen. Wir sollen keine Angst haben, aber wir müssen genau von unserer Vergangenheit lernen. Eines Tages waren wir die Herren in unserem Vaterland, im eigenen Land. Heute kämpfen wir, leben und überleben zu können. Denken Sie an die Wachstumskurve. Die Wachstumskurve allein ist ein Indiz dafür, wenn wir so weitermachen würden, dann sind wir eines Tages eine Minderheit in unserem eigenen Land. Und wir sehen, wie der Islam reagiert, wenn das in der Macht und in der Mehrheit, und wie der Islam reagiert, wenn es in die Minderheit ist. Also ich warne, nehmen Sie die Situation ernsthaft. Meine Story is your story. Meine Geschichte ist Ihre Geschichte. Meine christliche Vergangenheit ist Ihre Wurzel, Ihrer Christenheit. Lernen Sie von unserer Geschichte, lernen Sie von unserer Situation, schauen Sie in der Zukunft, und die Zukunft fängt heute an. Deswegen erhebe ich meine Stimme und sage, wir sollen nicht wegschauen, sondern wir müssen zusammen handeln und wir müssen für unsere Kinder ein sicheres Land anbieten und wir müssen für unsere Kinder was tun, damit sie in ihrem eigenen Land nicht als Bürger der 2. oder der 3. Klasse oder als minderwertige Menschen im eigenen Land behandelt werden.
Anjem Chowdhury has praised the 9/11 hijackers and called for the execution of Pope Benedict. Chowdhury told CBN News his group is a non-violent political and ideological movement that resides in the UK under a covenant of security. Yet he openly praises violent jihad.
The Quran is full of, jihad is the most talked about duty in the Quran after Tawheed, belief. Nothing else is mentioned more than the topic of fighting.
Several former members of Chowdhury's group have been arrested on terrorism charges.
A very significant number of former Al-Muhajirun people were involved in terrorist plots against this country. A number of people have actually gone to Afghanistan, joined the Taliban, and died fighting for the Taliban.
Chowdhury refuses to condemn acts of terror, including 9/11 and the July 7, 2005 London bombings, which killed 52 people.
What were your thoughts on the 7/7 bombings? Did you condemn them? Did you support them?
For the people who carried it out, it was legitimate. If you look at the will of Muhammad Siddiq Khan and Shajat Tanvir, they will justify it, and they will bring many verses from the Quran and many statements to say that that's the Islamic argument. And it's a difficult Islamic argument to refute, and there are many scholars who support that argument as well.
Chowdhury says his group is merely following core Islamic teachings. He says Islam is much more than a religion.
This particular belief is more than just a religion. It's not just a spiritual belief. It is in fact an ideology which you believe in and you struggle for and you're willing even to die for because you believe in that. That is your whole life.
He seems to relish being called Great Britain's most hated man, pledging to continue his rallies, calling for the overthrow of the British system. Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News, London.
And it's not just Egypt and not just Copts. In northwestern Syria last month, amateur video purported to show Islamist elements among the Syrian rebels beheading Franciscan Father Francois Murad, a Catholic priest, for allegedly conspiring with the Assad regime.
Wherever we see radical Islam, we see persecution of Christians. And I think because of that, we see more persecution today of Christians around the world than any other type of religion. I think it's one of the largest underreported human rights issues in the world today.
Now it is your choice to whether you see it or not, and God will not hold us blameless. When I was talking about this for the last few years, I was telling you these things were coming and saying God will not hold us blameless. You have to prepare for these things. I am telling you right now, they are happening. You can find the information. You can actually see the video. There is no excuse. No excuse will be accepted at the end of our lives. No excuse will be accepted. We all say never again. Well, it's happening right now. It is happening right now, and you will be held accountable for everything that you do. I know nobody wants to hear that, and nobody ever wants to hear a hell and brimstone, fire and brimstone kind of preacher, but I'm sorry. It is fire and brimstone that we all face if we turn our eyes from this and we do not stand. And I don't mean fire and brimstone just for all eternity. I mean fire and brimstone is coming because if you turn your eyes from the Coptic Christians now, if you turn your eyes, the next will be the Jews and the next will be the Christians in Europe. And then after that, they will happen here. They will happen in Canada. They will happen in South America. They will happen all around the world. Why do you think Al Jazeera is so emboldened? Why do you think this administration is so emboldened? Because we've done nothing. It is time to stand together. It is time to put our differences aside. What do you say? We work together for the freedom of mankind. What do you say? We work together so evil does not sweep the earth.